Well, welcome back. Oh, hold on. I hit the wrong thing. I was in the wrong spot. That's the way we
Oh
start.
no.
Golly. Welcome back, everybody. This is Living the Good Life, whether you can tell it or not. And what I'll tell you is it's not the perfect life, it is the flawed life, as just demonstrated perfectly by yours truly. Almost ended the stream before we started. Then the mouse wouldn't work and I couldn't click off the background screen. And listen, sometimes we have intentions that things are supposed to go a certain way and they don't go the way that we thought they would. That's all part of living the good life. This is this is a conversation about what it actually looks like to live the good life, not the life that the world tells us is the good life, the life of the cars and health and money and trophy wives and perfect kids and all those sorts of things. No, this is the good life that Jesus calls us to live, which starts out with being humble and meek and recognizing that we don't have it all together, being poor in spirit and mourning for others and being meek in our situation and hungering and thirsting for righteousness and being merciful to those around us and being pure in heart only because God is pure in heart and being peacemakers, not just, peacekeepers. This is a life, a good life of knowing that you're blessed when you're persecuted on God's behalf, on Jesus's behalf, and realizing that when you get insulted for being like a follower of Jesus, that's a good thing because that means that you are living the good life that Jesus has called us to live. And that's what we talk about week after week after week as we are walking through the Sermon on the Mount and breaking things down. We also talk about life because we are not called to just memorize the words in the Bible, but to actually put them into action in our lives. It doesn't do you any good if you know all the words and you know the history behind them and you don't do anything about it. And so we want to walk through what it actually looks like to live the good life with God and with the people around us. And so that's what we do week after week. We have these conversations and we welcome everybody that joins us to chime in the chat to let us know that you're here. If you have questions, throw those questions out. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking, what is resonating with you, what you're learning, what the journey that God has you on is bringing to other people. What is your testimony? Because that's why God gives us the stories so that we can share them with other people. And that's how we got our guest for today. Faye Seberg is joining us. I'm guessing that's how you say your name. I mean, I can't think of a different way to say it.
Well, I usually say when I did staffing recruitment, I have a funny story about I should have been using my middle name. They were calling my prospective clients would call in and leave a message that they're asking for Stacy. And so 3 weeks go by and people were calling in asking for Stacy. We don't have a Stacy here. And it was like, Faye, get in my office. What's your middle name? She's like, I said, Marie. She's like, from now on, leave your voicemail, Faye Marie Seberg, because they were calling me Faye Stacy.
They messed that up that badly?
It was that bad.
I don't know how you could do that.
It was that bad. And at the time, it was like, dude, I don't want them to call me Stacy because my ex-husband's new wife is Stacy, and then my current spouse's ex-wife is Stacy. I'm like, don't call me Stacy.
No, anything else.
Marie Seberg, or sometimes I pause to get people to articulate it right.
I mean, Faye is nothing close to Stacy.
No, not at all.
There's a couple letters that are the same, but I mean,
it's when they're combined. Faye Seberg.
It sounds like Facey. Faye Seberg. Facey.
So when I enunciate myself, I do better in writing because people can't get my voice is squeaky and
I think you sound great.
Or I'm too twangy. When I get excited, I get countrified. My country comes out of me.
Well, I'm hoping we hear a lot of country twang then today because there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. Life. I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me here. Jen has always been someone I followed on LinkedIn. I was like, wow, she's amazing. Like, she shows up every day consistently. And that's what I feel like we lack sometimes in the call of God, being consistent and just knowing you through social, like, she's consistent today. How can I be more consistent?
Thank you so much.
Learning from that, just seeing that was like, oh, my mission, I need to be consistent, because that's where I was lacking. Thank you. Little do you know that you're helping people.
Thank you so
See
much.
that?
Consistency is really hard. Like, I would say consistency in the things that you need to do for your business, that's hard. But also consistency in keeping up your relationship with God is hard. There's a reason he tells us to daily take up our cross and walk with him, right? So it's like, sometimes we get in these like good parts of our life, these good seasons, and we kind of forget that we need to be kind of like a marriage too, right? You have to practice love daily, practice your relationship with God daily. It can get, it's hard to do every day.
It's like, I call it the relationship. My relationship with God is like that fitness relationship. It's boring sometimes, because the chicken, you're like trying to figure out a way to make a chicken like taste different and better. And okay, today we're gonna do this rice, complex carb pairs with protein, right? And so it's like being consistent in the boring sometimes, but I found this new level in just finding myself, that God wanted me to be in my dark space through being consistent in something that I want to do.
I'm not advocating for marital or spousal abuse when I say this. This was a joke that I said. When you were talking about being able to be like content in the everyday, right? Like when you're working out, you're just staying on that path, and maybe chicken is not always the most desirable meal. Maybe you get tired of it, right? I had a friend of mine who said that his wife was complaining that their life was just, mundane. It was mundane. And it annoyed me. And I said, and again, I'm not advocating for abuse. I said, push her down the stairs. She won't see that coming.
Oh my gosh.
Because really, I want mundane, right? Like, you know what's exciting? Cancer. Nobody wants that, right? Like, I want my good, simple life. That's the life that, like, that's okay, right? That we're supposed to have contentment in those situations, not go like, I need more excitement. That's why people go have affairs. That's why things fall apart, because we can't be content in the thing. So again, I was not really advocating for him to push his wife down the stairs. That was not my intention with that.
No, that's a really good point.
That's a good point.
But we need to be okay where God puts us and what that looks like, because we will come to those points in our life where it gets really, really exciting and really, really stressful. Yeah. And then we are going to long for the mundane again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Faye, I know that you have had a journey and you're doing really good things, but you've also had a journey of struggle yourself. So I want everybody and myself to kind of know your story deeply. So tell us where God has placed you.
God has placed me in a place, I feel like, a rhythm of connecting. I take this little bit from Mr. Rogers. He was asking his grandmother about, during a time back in the early 60s, there was a lot of chaos going on. And he's like, Grandma, what do we do when there's chaos going on? And he's like, look for the helpers. There's no matter what's going on in our life, there's help. Find the helpers. The helpers are doing something. And one of the things that I saw God leading me down is a path of helping kids who need help. Because I was the kid that needed help growing up, and then the ripple effect. So where I have been going, I feel like was kind of drifting in life without God, because it was about what me, and I wasn't directing my resources to really, who can I help? Who can I make an impact in my community? And I was like, the children. There's underserved children that just needs a push. And I didn't know this until just my dog, Chloe. I didn't know this until being in my own misery, in my own discomfort, and how truly our wreckage can be the crack that we need to push us.
So where did you grow up? You grew up in Texas?
Well, I grew up in California with my grandmother. She
Well,
was
that'll
a-
do it.
No, don't recommend it. Tax rates are really bad. No, but with all jokes aside, she served people. That
Yeah.
was her business, and so
What did she do?
she owned a retirement center in Napa, and she provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the tenants.
Okay.
And so these were tenants that SSI California. It was like parents have these problems with these people, mental health, but they can manage to just have their room and board and just show up at the dinner table. They're not able to mentally pay bills and stuff like that. Anyway, so she ran that. So I grew up around the service industry, and where God is leading me is a deeper dive into places that need light.
Did your family, did you guys have a faith? Sorry, that was a lot of mumbling. Did you guys have a faith growing up? Were you raised in a Christian household?
So yes, and then the way that it was presented, I didn't have Christmases. It was like Seventh-day Adventist, but it was like layers from that, and then it was Church of God, and it was Church of Yahweh, and it was Church of this. And I was a generation that physically saw the crash and burn of a church. So me revolting at 12 years old wasn't a disrespect, but it was me going, hey, like we find a lot of ourselves in life kind of not judging the churches, but judging it based off of the relationships that I had at such an early age. And so I feel like now God has positioned me in a place where children are needing help with a tutor to provide that. And whereas where I was going was more of just, I'm gonna sell books, and I'm gonna once again live for self. But then it was like, God, I don't want that. I want to serve. I want to, how can we serve our community? No matter what we sell, how are we serving our community? How are we making an impact in, the things that Jen does and helps and make an impact in a masculine, industry that needs a little feminine touch, a little directive.
Yeah. So what happened between so 12 years old, you kind of revolted from the many churches you were part of?
Pretty much, just because it was so diversified. It was the relationship that we had growing up was do as I say, not as we do. Right?
With your parents?
Parents.
Yeah.
My dad was one way, my mom was another way, and the conglomeration there was hard. But again, I look at it as this was a card that I was dealt, that now at my age today, I'm going, now I can help an industry, a community, and build smarter people. We need this in what's going on. A lot of people don't still know about who all the presidents were. We need to educate our children, right? And so our future is our youth. Our youth is our future. It's like, if you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth. And if there's one legacy that I can leave behind, because that was another thing, when I hit my own state of darkness, I was at the peak of my medical life, because I have an autoimmune that kept me not able to ever gain weight, like muscle. So I went through 2 decades that a lot of people go through. But again, I'm pulling snippets of this, of going like, this is what is making me stronger to sit at a community council to say, I want to help the students are lacking.
So let's walk through that story a little bit, right? So like at 12 years old, at 12 years old, your parents and your family have gone to all these different churches. Did I freeze there?
Yeah,
you did.
Right. Well, you can hear me, and we'll try and figure that out. You've gone to all these different churches. Let's see if I shut this off.
Way to go.
Nope.
Now
All
you're on
right.
the-
So we'll figure this out.
Yeah. And I don't know how to zoom out.
So you go
You're
to
good.
you go to all these different churches, different denominations. They are believing different things. I'm sure it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
You become a little bit disenfranchised with the church because of maybe inconsistencies that are happening. You're some hypocrisy that's happening. People are saying one thing, believing one thing, but then their actions are leading in a different direction.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff is taking place. When do you like, did you go to college and have that sort of experience?
I had some college, and then, due to leaving California to Texas to visit family here, you kind of drop out of that, and you find yourself slowly weaving yourself back into education centers, growing, and once again a dropout because then life is hitting. You're
Mm,
not, I feel like I want to create a place almost like a safe haven for our youth today who are still living in lack of educating people on who God really is,
yeah.
and how his frequency is, and how I relearned a relationship with him, not out of force, but it was forced to live a certain way of religion based on all these other, um, one group at the same church believes it this way, and another group at this church believes it that way. And so at the end of the day, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's tough. So like what at what point in this journey of all these differing points of view on God, um, did you kind of, I guess, what got you to force yourself into finding your own perspective of God? Because I know you said, I don't know, you said while we were back in the studio waiting that you got to the point where you were really mad. You actually like ripped up a Bible. So like what got you from that point
did.
to like loving God again?
Yeah, because it's interesting how you hear of some people, they don't want to admit that. And, oh no, like I never cursed God. Well, think about it this way. If you've been wanting something, and it was in 2020 is when I pretty much said, okay, God, I found myself in bowel reconstructive surgery. And I was like, I finally have a diagnosis there. I finally understand my health. And it was at that point I had been praying and learning. And little did I know, all these years, God was building my character.
Yeah.
I was learning my learning so much character build, because where I am at today, I know now. I did not have the character that I need to have now, building what I'm building and going through this next level. And I don't want to be that person that I told God in 2020, I'm not ready. But little did I know, I had to go through more fire, because I did make a promise to God. It was July 31st of 2020. I was sitting in that hospital room. You couldn't have anybody because it was the C word, right? COVID.
Right.
And nobody could visit you. And I'm sitting there going, okay, God, I don't know what you're doing for me. But because again, mind you, I had stepped away from him, but it was my first time saying the words. That's why I'm so big on words. I love words. Like, words are so powerful. This world was created through words, right?
Yeah.
And I told God, use me. I'll do whatever. But I didn't know, if he would have told me I would have gone through these other hurdles and then hit cancer, I would have been like, no.
Right.
And
No,
so truly
God
walk
doesn't do that, right? He gives us what we need for today, right? Like Jen
for
and I think
today.
we talked about that last week. He gives us what we
Yeah.
need for today, right?
For
Like,
today.
not for, 20 years from now, because you would look at that and say, no, I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds terrible.
I'm literally telling you what, I first time ever, like, actually getting scared of the shoes that I'm going to be walking into.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, okay, this is God's work. Because again, this time last year, I was going to leave Texas. I was heading out. I was going to go do my own thing. And then I get hit with cancer and I could not go anywhere. and pulled me away. Like it's true what they say, that before God elevates you, he truly pulls you away from all distractions.
Yeah.
That was where the Bible ripping came. That was when
Okay.
I was in grief. I'm hating this because all these years I've been praying to God, I've been on your side, because there were big deeps and valleys that I was in.
Yep.
And the anger came from, I've been 4.5, 5 years. I've been giving it all, God. I'm turned my life around. But I wrote about this too, because it's like, when we make the decision to choose God, like we are hit with the most destruction from the adversary. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
The adversary
Absolutely.
comes tenfold. And there were 4 different times that the adversary, that I finally understand how the adversary weaves his little self in and makes it pretty. And I'm like, dude, you don't even, nope, that was Satan.
So what does that look like? What's the first time? Like what leads up to it and what happens?
Of when you know you get hoodwinked, you kind of feel hoodwinked, you get jaded, like something will happen, someone will say something, and it's like,
but what was that for you? Like if you're willing to share it.
Yeah. For me, it was things that I do believe in that war room, the moments, the prayer, the relationship that we have with God, because that's my prayer with him. Like I will get pad, paper, I'm writing in my war room, candle on. It's literally, God, let's go. And things that I would pray about and talk to him in that surrender moment, I kid you not, things would start happening.
Mm-hmm.
God blesses us in action.
Yeah.
If we're just sitting down, putting no effort, like he wants us to be fruitful. And I can't even believe I'm talking about this, because like a year ago, I was like, God, I don't need you. I'm gonna do it my way. It was a disaster. I lived a disastrous life. And I did this the other day, man. I was on where I can find it. I did you see how empty this is over here? Pretend like there's nothing here. This is my
Yeah.
and this was like from the time I was 20 all the way up until now. And I'm like, okay, God, I have a boring life up from now until then. Whatever you have for me when you're knitting me in my mother's womb, like I want to be that person.
Yeah.
And I think all the darkness of, I can either stay here, I'm going through cancer, and now I'm still fighting treatment. I can still war with that, but I'm like, God, I serve you. You're going to be the one. You're going to get me through this. You have to the faith walk.
Yeah, I love that. And I think what you said also about being in the dark place first, I think we have to also go through a season of wilderness, or whatever people like to call it, a winter season, the wilderness, in order for him to prepare us to then, like you just said, act, right? Prepare and then act. So he prepares us so that we can act.
The planting.
Yeah.
There was a pastor that I started following. I'm like, oh my gosh, he talked about discernment. And I was like, and character build. Like, honestly, we have to get honest with ourselves, because like I kid you not, when your soul brushes up against death, it shifts us into a whole other parallel, that everything that you thought would matter all of a sudden dissipates. And you're like, okay, God, I want to. Movie Soul with Jamie Foxx hit me so hard. I sobbed, and I just became a Disney movie to watch the Taylor Swift. Come on now, I had to watch Taylor. I had never been a Taylor fan, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is amazing. This woman who is spreading love and light to so many people in a dark world, and kind of circling back. Like, that's where I want God to put me, like from now on, the rest until I die. I want to be serving. I want to be mentoring the youth. I want to be talking to rooms like this where people know more. Like I'm just drifting along, but I want to be serving while I'm drifting, and not aimlessly.
So you were going in a direction that was you focused, right? Like I'm just doing this for me. I'm writing for me. I'm living for me. I'm doing for me. And then God decides to break you.
Boom.
And, and I think a lot of times Satan gets too much credit for our breaking.
Oh yeah.
We go through a
Yeah.
thing and we're like, God, why would you let Satan do this to me? And God's like, don't give him credit. I did this.
Yeah.
Like, this is my doing, right? There's a lot of people that would look at a situation that you have, Faye, and say, how could a good God give somebody as lovely as you cancer? And there's a lot of people that would ask that question.
There are a lot of people ask that question. Yeah.
And how do you,
And
what's your answer to that?
When I look back on it now, I don't want to cry. Gosh dang it. It forces a person into submission. The character rebuild, I would not have shut up. It was almost like a dad saying, sit down. You're not going anywhere, because I was like, things started happening in slivers in my life. And that's how I know it was like I had a little bit of the deep, heavy adversary, like, and things would happen and people would come in my life, and I'm sitting here going, that was not a God, because I'm relearning that if something's flowing and it's a spiritual connection and it's of God, it's the feeling that I have now of discernment that I didn't have before. I was just like willy-nilly, like everyone's my friend because I've got the California vibe. Like I love everybody. But I feel like that always ruined my character before, because it was like people never took me serious, but I'm over here grinding, building, and that's why Matthew 6 verse 1 is so powerful to me, because it's re-evaluating what I need to build. That when I'm building mission work, it's about building quietly and serving sincerely, not that I never did before, but it's truly to make an impact. And the death part, the mad and the anger was like, God, I've been praying to you. I want to know what I'm here for, what my true north is. I don't want to be jealous or envious about someone else getting this. Yeah, it's their turn to celebrate. So I'm big on that. And I want my brand, like I said, to model, gosh, it's so lonely in those cancer places. And I didn't really realize that. And I kept telling God, like, lead me to places that someone just needs a hug, a hug. And here I was, and I got to go next week. And it just rips my heart when I'm walking in there and I'm like, they wish they could be like me because I got some energy, but I'm like pulling myself together. I don't have the energy. So it's like in those dark places of hardship that it's hard to swallow. The hell, it forces us into submission. It forces us into change. Like that's how it had to do to me. That's because God knows my personality. He knows, I want to lean into building and growing a stronger community. And I feel like all these years I've been wasting time, that the adversary's been putting pawns, and I've just been like, oh my gosh. And I feel like once I had that blindfold lift off of me and I see God in a different light, and I can't even believe I'm talking about it, because I used to never be like, yeah, I love God. But you see what the difference of, like, man, he can transform a person, even somebody like me.
Yeah. And Satan doesn't need us to not believe in God. He just needs us to be distracted from his goodness.
Distracted. Yeah. And now I see it.
Satan doesn't want to make our life hell, I don't think. He wants to give us little tidbits of nice little fleeting moments of happiness and exactly maybe what we want in the moment, and then like just to keep us distracted from needing God and submitting,
Comfortable. Satan wants us comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. He wants us comfortable, because when you're comfortable,
Yeah. Oh, I
when you're
was.
sitting on the couch, you don't have a need in the world. Like, I'm just watching TV. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
My feet are up. I got my bowl of popcorn. What else do I need?
With
I'm good. Right.
you.
And so you can forget about all the problems because I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
need anything. Satan wants to keep us comfortable. God wants to keep
Yeah.
us growing and sanctified. Right.
But
And we're never going to earn our salvation, but once we have our salvation, we have to get up and do things
yeah.
to bring God glory, not because he loves
Amen.
us more, but because we're in so much awe of God that we step into those things and
Yeah.
say thank you. Thank you, God,
Yes.
thank you, God, for putting me through the thing that you had to put me through to get my attention so that I could seek after you and follow you and grow, and then let your name be made known to all the people that I come into
Yes.
contact with.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
That could put me in the weeping because I had those moments like where I'm literally crying in my own little space of, okay, God, I finally know what you need me to do. But at that time, I didn't know yet where he was leading me. But it was like, Faye, take all the things that you struggled and just go and help that community. And I was like, the kids need us.
Yeah.
And that's what came to me. And it was the most humbling feeling. And, you know, it's like, that's the path that I want to lead. I don't care about material things, you know,
So you're living the good life.
giving the good life.
And when I saw your comments last week, I was like, yes, I don't know anything about this person.
Thank
I don't know her
you.
from anything, but based on the comments you had, and then like that quick, like, I think it was 2 messages in, I was like, I love her.
Oh,
She is amazing. Her energy is amazing. The things
thank
she's saying are
you.
spot on. This is a person that we need to know more.
I feel honored. Thank you. But I want to know y'all more. And I'm so happy to be here and tapping into this because it means a lot to me. This is the first time in my life actually like saying, God, I give you this is my mission. This is my purpose. Almost like forever my time is my tithe, and my resources become giving back and wherever I can.
So we're going to go against today's verse for a second, because I want to know the things that you're actually doing, right? So you are a children's author, right?
I started doodling when I was going through chemo.
Okay.
And I started doodling little things about a bunny and my doodles back in December came off of like a quick little Instagram click.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's Alan. Oh, hey, Alan. Hey, I'm literally on the phone with Alan. It's in December. And I just finished a round of chemo. And let me tell you what, chemo brain is for real, man. You will forget.
Is it?
You do not. I don't recommend it for nobody. And so sometimes I find myself in a conversation and I was like, crickets, like, I don't know, blank. I don't even know what I'm talking. So I have to write stuff down. I will forget. So I'm on the phone with Alan and leads to another. He's like, well, send your doodles over to me. And he goes, well, first I want you to read your doodles. And so mind you, you're going through your hell, your nightmare, crying. My poor husband, I don't know what, and so him putting up with me, and I'm talking to this guy, Alan, he's from California, and I'm reading my book to him. And he's like, oh my gosh, I love it. And then I'm sending him money. And then now I have 2 books coming. And like I said, I don't know how any other way to say it. I was like, God, if you make this happen, I can help save these kids. So it's like, use me, help multiply to serve kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're doing that. And now you're starting a foundation also?
Also, yes, sir. Primarily because I'm always looking at ways of how can we help a community? How can we help kids today? And I took this from my own daughter. It wasn't until she was a freshman in high school when I could have afforded a tutor. And it was the first tutor session changed her life, literally changed her life with Mr. Bradley. So here I am on a phone with Alan talking about my doodles, my scribbles, and while I'm praying to God, going, God, please, I just push me into where I need to go. And I tell you, it was kind of like I'm ready, God, I'm ready. Use me. I'm ready. But that was to me powerful, because it wasn't until the telling God I'm ready. Again, I'm wacky when it comes to my relationship, my conversations with God. Like he and we have some conversations, and
I can only imagine. I love your personality so much. I can imagine your conversations with God are pretty funny.
Well, they're I'll write about it sometimes. But yesterday we had the Grim Reaper, and it was like I have a 2 p.m. call, with the potential school district, and I don't have time to have bone pain. Okay, and you're sitting there going, I just need to pop a pain pill, to just dull the pain. People don't see that, because it's another thing. Like, I just want to help people and create a foundation that can spotlight people in situations. Education system, I feel like, is lacking to the kids that need it. And underserved kids, because I was one of those kids. I didn't have the funding. My family didn't have the funding. We had a wacky relationship in just childhood, the cards that I was dealt, that I hope that one day I can show kids that, I was dealt maybe a 2 of spades. That's all I had. And you have to build something for it. And I want to take what happened to my daughter, who had 2 sessions of tutor, and I want to help more kids like that. And, it means something to me. So it's like, if I'm out here making a sale, how can it impact my community? I want to save the world, but gosh, can we save our community first?
I love that.
That's powerful.
And the reason I say let's go against our verse today, because today's verse is Matthew 6:2, and it says, so when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. So that's where we're at today. So last week was a warning not to practice our righteousness in front of others just to be seen by them. Because if you do, there's no reward from your Father in heaven. Today we see, so when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and the streets, to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. So, Jen, what do you see here?
Well, the last part of that verse is what I think has the most weight for me. It hurts to just read that, to know that maybe I wouldn't have his full reward, because that, again, it goes back to the motive. What is behind your generosity? What is behind your giving? We live in a society that is all about clicks and likes and affirmation and validation and virtue signaling and all of those things. And it's rewarded so much. But if that's all you get is the human reward, then that's really, really depressing. And so for those people who, and also, like, it makes a lot of sense, I think, when you do receive those kinds of public validation and affirmation, it's the dopamine, and then it's the validation, and then you can actually, like, trick your brain into thinking that, generosity equals, like, righteousness, and my righteousness equals it. It makes it wrong. It can, I guess, permanently train your brain to think that public sort of stuff is the way to go, because that's what true righteousness is. But when your motive is God and bringing honor to him, then you get the eternal reward. And I don't, like, kind of like we talked about last week, I don't think that we're not allowed to do things publicly as long as it's for the right reasons. Because if that were the case, then we shouldn't be having this podcast, right? Because, so I think your heart posture and your motive of God being at the top, and you're not chasing the earthly good life
Yeah.
that those types of acts can give. I think you'll be fine if that's truly your motive. Because if not, then if all you get is like the applause from humans, that's just cool. That's super depressing. I want a relationship with God forever, and I want to live in his kingdom, and I dream of the day that I die and I get to see him and he tells me that I've done well, I
Yeah.
dream of that day.
Yes.
What do you think, Faye?
So
I love that ending that Jennifer just shared, because it's exactly what drove me into creating this new mission. I call it my next expansion, that this is my forever, because I was not happy if I would have died then and I went to God, and God, that cliche moment of like, God, you're not going to be proud of me. I didn't ask to know the person, that the version that you want of me, that you see me. I'm ready to be in that person. If you let me live, and this is my second chance at life. I text you this a little bit. I was like, I feel like I have my second chance of life. And God, please, I don't want to die. And that's what brought in that little soul cartoon on with Jamie Foxx. It's like, he wasn't ready to die. Wait, he's dead now. He could do more, and he knew he was better and he was worth more. And so I think we limit ourselves because we're too comfortable. And I was so comfortable. I was living the good life, floating around with
The world's good life, right? The good life that the world
world's
says that
good
you
life,
live.
yeah.
One of the things I feel like I listen to way too much Joey Martin, if there's such a thing. Church of 1122. Every morning when I'm running, I listen to Joey Martin, and I love that guy. And you said something a second ago that makes me realize why I've heard him say that over and over and over again, is so that I can do a bad job of repeating it to you. When you said like you hope that God is happy with you with the things that you're doing now. And what he has been reminding people about for a long time is that nothing that you do will make God love you more or love you less than he already does.
Amen.
And when Jesus was baptized, he had not done anything yet. He hadn't done any miracles. He hadn't spoken a sermon. He had lived a perfect life up until that point, right? But he hadn't done anything major. And just in that moment of being baptized, the heavens opened up, the dove comes down, and God says, "This is my son with whom I'm well pleased."
Mm-hmm.
And he knows you and what you're going to do and what you have done and what you have not done yet.
Yes.
And he's not disappointed in you in any way, shape, or form. And there's no way to earn his love towards you in any more than he already has. And so like we can just take peace in knowing that we are where God has put us so far. And there are other things that we can step into, and there are other things that we can do, but not for God's approval, so that he loves us more or is never going to love us any less. I mean, in our worst, he sent his son to die for us and to take our sin and give us his righteousness. And so what can I possibly do that is going to be worthy of that? Nothing. Besides just going out day after day and just trying to tell people how God has changed my life and what that looks like.
It's hard for me sometimes because I know that God will never love me more than he already does, and he definitely will not love me less. But it's really hard because, and I know that I'm saved, right? So that's not going away. But I also don't ever feel like I'm doing enough for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to rectify that in my mind sometimes. It's really difficult. Like I just feel like, and equally, I feel like if I do something wrong or sin, and the guilt just like consumes me because it matters so much to me, even though he doesn't love me less, even though he forgives me, I want to do more for him.
But
I don't know how to do that.
Isn't that better? Like, I know people who are Christians and they go the opposite direction, right? Where they feel like they're doing enough every
Mm,
single, like, uh, what is enough? Like Kelly and I were having the same conversation about what is enough. You know, Jesus says, die to yourself, pick up your cross daily and follow me. So when is that enough, right? Is it like, I serve 1 day a week? Cool. What are you doing 6 days a week?
6 days.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what are you doing in the other hours that you're not serving me? What are you doing? Are you spending more time serving yourself? Like, yes, you have to serve your family. You have to
Yeah.
walk into those things. You can't neglect that.
You have to take care of
Um,
your body.
you
You
have
have
to,
to
yeah,
take
you
care
have to,
of your children.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And short of becoming a monk in a monastery or a nun,
Yeah.
but your whole life should be a praise and a worship to God, wherever that is. If you're at
Hmm.
work, if you're dealing with uh, um, customers or patients or whatever it is in your line of work, the people that you're working with, how are you talking to them? How are you pouring into them? What does that look like in your life? Uh,
Mm,
is there ever a time where you can feel like, I've done enough?
yeah.
I don't think I'll ever feel that way.
No.
And I think once you feel that way, but you, at the same time, if you can know, like, if I were to die today, um, I couldn't have done anything more or anything less where I would not find myself in the loving arms of Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Where you don't say, I got to do this one more thing so God will love me enough to let me in.
Yeah, that's very true. That's something that's comforting.
And he
And
knows
I
the
do.
intention of the heart.
Yeah.
He knows
Yeah.
what you would be doing.
But I think it's very easy for us to say, one more. I got to do one more, right? Like if you're working out, one more rep, one more,
Yep.
one more. But in life and serving God, that is not the way that God looks at things.
Mm-mm.
My friend just texted and said, Faye is a hoot. And also said, I've been struggling a lot with this lately. So these
Oh,
are
good. I'm so
applicable
happy.
conversations.
I'm
Yeah.
happy because I tell you what, it's the depths of the breaking in our life of us recognizing that it's us who is going to pull us out, but it's also making the claim and surrendering it to God. And in the surrender moment is what got me because, like I said, I was one of those people that I saw the church fall and I didn't want to be like them. And, you know, and I even told my mom, I was like, if I have a kid, I'm not going to raise her in the church. Ooh, she didn't like that, but it was that type of behavior when the church fell and how it fell. I was like, gosh, I just don't believe in the church, God. And now I have a whole nother resurrection of belief in how to capture people, and it's the heart. And so my message to God was like, okay, God, if you give me a second chance, I promise I am not going to screw this up. And that was my promise to God. I will, you just help me build it, lead me, mold me, be the person, be the character that I needed to be. And it was almost like I felt him like hit me in the head, like, Faye, this whole time I've been trying to get you here. Oh, finally, hey, you got her here. That's how I felt. God, God's gonna see me go, man, you were running off this way, and I had to, put some fire to force you down. And I think sometimes it's that surrender part that I was missing. And that's where my yoga journey came into it, because I had people who were supposedly Christians one night at an event, and I'm having tea because I just had my bowel reconstructive surgery. I can't be drinking alcohol, lady. And she goes, hey, what are you drinking? And I said tea. And she goes, us drinkers, we don't like non-drinkers.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you're going, do you just not? And of course, the discernment, I didn't know then, but I kept my mouth shut, but my younger self would have been like, blah, 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 blah. I learned discernment. The next day, she had delivered a mini Bible and a thing of peanut whiskey on my doorstep. I was like, are you kidding me?
Are you serious?
I can't make it up. My daughter was there. My husband was like, what is she trying to tell me? Subliminal, like these Christians around here.
Oh my gosh.
Again, this was my beginning of leaning and learning in yoga and how the power of finding myself, because I was in my head and I didn't find a place to quiet. Shh. God comes into, I swear, I can't believe I'm talking about this, because like it's when we submit and we're quietening our world. Because, you know, when you're running a business, running a family, and you have trips and you have events and life just, you're just a boat going nowhere. You have no compass. So she was mad because I had invited her to my yoga class, just yoga, for Christ's heaven's sakes, you know, and then she's all like, we don't celebrate yoga because that's praying to a different God. And I'm like, what? So it's about learning how to teach people a way that this, look, I don't pray to crystals. God is a force of the heaven. Like, I don't look at a crystal. And I'm getting off topic. See, I go off.
No. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense to me, because there are yogis, there are people that practice yoga for the religion, right?
Yeah.
And it is a religion, right? It is a religion unto itself. A lot of the poses are revolving around different gods and things to worship, and that's true.
That's true.
But not everybody that practices the fitness of yoga wants to be a yogi.
Right.
But it is good if it can help you to calm your mind and calm your breath and meditate and think about God and and focus your eyes on him in a quiet space. That's a good thing, right? Like yoga as a practice can just be really good stretching and really good working out your muscles. There's nothing that's saying that you are worshiping other deities, right? It's the same thing when I run in the morning and I do like a weight session. I am listening to scripture and I'm working out and I'm listening to worship music, and that's me spending time with God and with myself and getting myself focused for the day.
And having said what I shared, my place in that was not, now, again, I'm a changed person, but you know, when someone takes what you have passion in and tries to rewrite it, okay, it's not my time now to start proving to this old girl that, you know, this is how I believe, this is what yoga, because yoga at the end of the day for me helped me find God in the quiet space.
The stillness.
The stillness, because my life was going. That's why I'm like, focus on you for a little bit, breathe, you know, the oxygen mask comes down, you breathe first, save yourself. So I'm in that moment of a little selfishness. I'm focusing on how I can save myself, because I was a withering soul and I needed hydration. And I look at people as a soul now. I don't look at them as, yes, male, female, whatever, but I look at them as an individual soul. You're here for a purpose. Jen has a mission that God has put her on, and she's, you know, cracking the code on that. And clearly there's a platform that we can learn from and elevate ourselves to not hating or animosity, or it's about Jen found her true north. And
we should be celebrating that with everybody.
Everybody, like, hey, I'm here to celebrate a friend who is breaking the code. You know, Tony's breaking the code on the air, man. He's zipping streams, breaking them left and right. I mean, I think this is amazing that we're able to do this, that I get to do this. I get to do this moment all the time. Like, I love going to the grocery store because, you know, there's so many communities that don't get to do this. Just something so simple that, you know, that we get comfortable. And it's not that I didn't take it for granted, but it's like God has seen, I've put on different lenses now. I'm new to having glasses, so I've got these other readers, and I can halfway see through this, and I'm all like I'm a whole nother can of worms, and I'm so young, but it's just like when I look at myself in my timeline theory, and from now at 47 until I'm 97, I ask God, please let me feel the rest of my life with helping as mission work. Like every day that I wake up, I want my calendar to be full, God, and put me in rooms that can help me get there. Not for the taking, but it's about growing. It's about, taking it. So kind of going back to Matthew 2, it's like, I want to celebrate other people too. How can we do that without it being like, let's put the trumpets on Jen. Let's put the trumpets on Tony and who he knows to help breathe life into their networks of people. Because I look at it as the networks of the hearts of people.
And what you just said is key. Sorry, breathing life. Like breathe. I think that is what we should be doing every day, is breathing life. So many people breathe disaster and words of evil and judgment and gossip and tearing people down and questioning this and questioning that.
Yeah.
We should all be breathing life into everybody that we come across.
Yeah.
Like that's what we should exude from our bodies and our souls,
Yep.
When we start talking about what we do and where we're going, that to me, it breeds action, and God serves those who takes action, and he'll take that. You may be going this direction, but because of your action, he knows the heart. And I know this now because like I'm on a phone with Alan in December, and now I have 2 books about to be published. And that was like, I was like, do I start talking about it now? My publicist is like, oh my gosh, yes. And I'm like, all these years I've been marketing and celebrating business. See, I've been self-serving myself. And it was like, yes, like the world needs to know. But now it's like, okay, Faye, because I'm one that, man, my eyes get bigger than my plate. And then I'm like, oh, I can't manage it all, because I'm like, what? Because that was the old version of me. Today, I'm now like, okay, before I march, I'm going to go get some information, learn to ask questions, make sure I'm with the right people.
Yeah. Stay aligned to the purpose you feel God has placed on your heart. And I think at the end of the day, what you have done is surrendered. So did that change your perspective on your own life? Does it change your, the anxiety that you have? Does it change your confidence, everything? Because that's, in my case, yes.
Yes. I would say my anxiety and my confidence went away, because once I feel like all these years I've found a bow and I've been in search of an arrow. That's how I'm an artist too. So I think of that as a bow and arrow, and as Valentine's coming up and already left us, and but it was like, I finally found my bow and arrow, and I have trajectory. This has given me, so I feel like the old me was anxious because I didn't really know how to network, where to be different, what is the need in the community that is starving. And it literally took me going through my own hardships in my own childhood of not having the financial means, to then, seeing the improvement that it happened to my daughter, to going, okay, God, I want to do mission work. I don't want to just make a sell. And then I'm like, okay, now what do I do with it? Oh, take another trip that I'm not going to enjoy. I've always liked trips, but it's like, oh, now I'm serving myself. And then I'm not having enjoyment. Like I said, mission work.
I think that's why this verse is really easy to get taken out of context.
Yes.
Because it's counterintuitive to helping to grow the mission and fund the mission and get people to participate in the mission that you're doing, right? When it says, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues on the streets, to be honored by others. Like that's a statement, right? It's not saying don't tell people about what you're doing. It's saying don't tell people about what you're doing in order that you would be honored by others, right?
Right.
That's a huge differentiator. And so, when I went to Honduras on that mission trip, I told people about it, not because I want to be honored by others, but because I want to give other people an opportunity to partner and help send the word out into other places. Having you on, Faye, to talk about the mission that you are moving forward in and helping children and help them with education when they're in a bad place. That's not saying, hey, look, Faye is amazing. Look at all the things that she's doing. It's saying, hey, community of believers, look what a fellow believer is doing and how you can get involved to help children and students to get the education that they need when they're down on their luck and things are not going the way that they're going. It's never about, hey, look how amazing I am, right? There's a guy on all the Instagrams and the TikToks and all the stuff. If I had a second, I would find it. But the guy just walks up to random people and like he pretends to be homeless for a second to see their reaction to him, like to other homeless people. And he'll say like, I'm just I'm having a rough day. I haven't eaten. And they're like, here's some food. And these are people that are homeless. And he's like, you know what? I don't really need it. Let's go shopping. And he'll take them and buy them food or give them a car or like thousands of dollars. And I cry every time I watch it.
Wow.
And this is a guy who's not doing it for himself, to make himself famous, to make his name known. He's doing it because more views bring in more money and he can serve more people and do more things, right? Now he has celebrities. He just had Shaq was on one of his videos and they went and gave somebody like a house.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That happens through God, right? Like God is at the crux of that, but it's happening through the platforms that have been created and people can see those things and step into those things and do those things, right? Like you'll have people say that social media is evil. Well, this is social media, right?
Yeah.
This is social media. The platform itself is neutral. It's what you put on the platform that makes it evil or makes it for God's glory.
And what you follow too.
Right. And all of these things need to be seen, right? Like your organization needs to be seen. When we did the Made for More event for Jake and Brian, we promoted it. Why did we promote it? So that people would show up and that we could pray for Brian and Jake so that we could raise some funds for Brian and Jake.
Yeah.
It's not saying keep it to yourself, right? Like if you go back, we are not called to be, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on the stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. You're not supposed to hide the good things that you're doing, but you're supposed to do the good thing that you're doing for God's glory and give him all of the honor and praise and worship and glory and not keep that for yourself. That's the difference with what Jesus is saying here. Don't do what the hypocrites and the people in the synagogues are doing, which is taking the seat of honor for themselves and being the key of the attention, the focus of the attention, so that they could be honored by others. Don't do that, right?
Right.
But still do the thing.
Yeah, because I'm literally at the preliminary of going in and talking to a service and go, I want to partner with you. And I'm still kind of like reluctant, but yet I'm like, talk about like your shoes. I feel like I'm in the biggest clown shoes ever. I'm timid, I'm scared, but yet it's like, I'm made for this. Like kids need help. How can I fund it? How can I take my money? So that's my energy. Like, no, I'm calling them today. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What am I going to talk about? Because I don't want to make it about me. I want to make to help one, to teach one and to grow and to help one. And without having the Matthew 6:2 going, oh, I'm standing on the street corner because I'm huge on that. Like, I don't like to give. And Faye's doing this. I believe in but also you want to make an impact. And I'm this could not be more fitting for me because this is where I get a little timid. I'm like, well, I don't want to sound like I'm boasting.
No, you should put yourself in the right rooms. People need to hear your message.
And I think when you share your story, right, your testimony is a huge part of what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? Like those are my two questions, right? What are you doing and why are you doing it? Those are my questions for the year. So when you go meet with these people, you start with where you were to where you are to what you're trying to do. And it tells a whole story of God's glory on how you were what you were. You were living for yourself. You were only doing the things for yourself. You were living for the things of the world, right? And then God, in his grace and his mercy and his goodness, knocked you off your pedestal. Your pedestal of self, where you were the most important thing. And he said, hey, I need you to focus on me. I'm the one that's going to get you through this. And now to where you are today, where you're trying to take the lessons that God has given you, through your education, through your child's education, through your hardships, through the cancer that you're dealing with, and saying, how do I serve a people that is underserved the way that I was? Will you help me do this? Will you help me be the hands and feet of Jesus for the people that are less fortunate than I am?
Yeah. And I'll also just reiterate the fact that God gave you your story for a reason, and he gave it to you so it could be part of your testimony and how you went from here to here. Like he just said, like we're supposed to tell our stories. We're supposed to tell them.
100%.
Thank y'all.
100%.
My ego. Like I needed to hear that because, like I said, sitting here fighting for your own life, I don't go, oh, look at me. To me, I'm like, put the violin away. I don't need this. This is about work time. This is about go time. This is about who needs help. I feel like that's where my energy comes in now. People are like, so how are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm waiting on treatment, but meanwhile, I can be doing more.
Yep.
Let me serve those people. So it's about taking your own hardship and giving it to God. And I tell you, he knows your heart and he knows what you're wanting to do and what you want to be known for.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to get the glory. This is him. This isn't me. Like everything that I'm doing is him. It's his work because I know when I was in the muck, the mayhem, the dark, having no direction, no compass, and just drifting, to now actually going, God, I want to wake up today. I'm excited. I have a meeting to talk to about someone that I can have a forever friendship that, hey, I'm helping them grow. I'm showing up for them because that's what I want to be known for. I don't want to be known for the billiard girl. Like, what? I was offended at that. I was like, wait, they think I'm just a billiard girl? And the way they said it, I was mad. I was like, that also gave me a little piss and vinegar in my soul. I was like, no, I don't want to be known for just the billiard girl, God. Like, I'm more. I want to help find hearts that need you. And again, that's the testimony of you have to have that own for yourself.
Yep. And you have to be willing to share the things that God has given you.
Yeah.
Because, the scripture says that there will not be anything added to or taken away from the Bible, right? But we are additions to the stories of the Bible. Like you look at all of the quote unquote heroes of the Bible and we know their stories.
Yeah.
And all of them were broken messes of humans, right? Jesus was the only one that wasn't a mess of a human. The rest of them, God used the broken to do miraculous things.
Yeah.
In John 9, it says there's a man and he is sitting on the side of the road, and Jesus is with the disciples, and his disciples look at Jesus and they say, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus responds, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. So Why, again, we go back to that question, right? Why would a good, perfect, holy God allow cancer into the world? Well, so that the works of God might be displayed in them,
Mm.
Yeah.
so that God will be glorified through those things, through
Amen.
hearts being changed, through prayers that are offered in those awful circumstances.
Yeah.
God has a plan to use all of that pain, whether we recognize it in the moment or
Yeah.
not, is irrelevant, right? For
Yeah.
years, this poor guy from birth, we don't know how old he was, but he was blind from
Wow.
birth to whatever this is. And Jesus says, nobody did anything wrong here. This man was born blind for this exact moment. And it goes on. So Jesus, after saying these things, he spit on the ground, made some mud with his saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. And he said, wash in the pool of Siloam, which means sent. And so the man went and he washed and he came home seeing. And his neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claimed that he was, and others said, no, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am the man. How then were your eyes open? They asked. He replied, the man they called Jesus made some mud, put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. I washed, and then I could see. Where is this man? I don't know. And it goes on. And then they go get his parents and they question him. And they're like, how did they do this? And he's like, I don't know. But all these other people came to know Jesus through his blindness, through his ailment, that he could then share that story with the whole community. And the whole community would come to know how good Jesus is, that he can heal the blind. He can open the blinded eyes. He can do those things. Why does he choose to heal some and not others? I don't know. That's beyond my pay grade. He has not allowed me into that part of the story yet. And I don't think I'll ever know that part of the story. But what I do know is that God is good. And if it's his will to heal, God is good. If it's his will for somebody not to be healed, then God is good. And somehow, in some way, it will all be for his glory. And the way that he chooses to do the thing is going to be the best way to do the thing.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah.
So the last thing I love about this verse, and I keep emphasizing it, is in the beginning when it says, so when you give to the needy.
When as opposed to if.
It never says if. It says when. When you give, right? We are called to be giving all the time, with our time, with our resources, with our money, with our life. When you give, right? God already has that planned out. When we're going to give, what we're going to step into. There's opportunities all around us to do something and help in communities and with people. There are people in need everywhere. And so we never have to ask, should I do this? It says when you do this, when you give, right? I think that's such a huge word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is when.
Yeah.
It's an action.
Yes. Action.
Your place in action is the living the good life, because when you encapsulate action in the giving, oh my gosh, that's where God can work miracles. And I've witnessed it in my own life, because I was stuck and I was so focused in going one direction, and to get a diagnose, how it literally, I've told people, cancer saved my life. It changed the whole direction in trajectory. I was going a total different way a year ago. And literally 8 months today, I'm sitting here and I'm talking about it, and I'm like pinching myself. I can't believe I'm even talking about this.
Yep. That's crazy. I think that's
beautiful.
the greatest sentence that's ever been said in our 42 episodes. Cancer saved my life.
Cancer saved my life. Yeah. That's beautiful.
And I say it with humble because one of the things that got me through my own hard was hearing other people's hard.
Yeah.
And when we, listen, that's why it's so, like, Jen, it's so important. You're right. Tell your story. And I'm reminding about that too, because I just hope that I can make someone's life a little bit better to turn their life to God. Like, I know you're having a hard day, but tough love today, because that's how I had to talk to myself. I know you're having a hard day mentally, and you some days it's like, you just go to sleep, wash your face, go to sleep, brush your teeth, the simple things that I had to remind myself. But hearing someone else's story brought me to, like, okay, they're going through that. I can at least do this. And I'm not, like, it's not about one-upping people, but man.
Yeah. But your story does that for people too. Hearing your
hope,
story.
I hope so. I really hope so. But in the meantime, God used me to just help somebody else who's going through maybe a different hardship. Because, like, I witnessed my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, Mom, I can't believe you're doing this." I'm like, "I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I'm still fighting cancer." But again, it's about, as long as you have me here, God, use me. Let me be your vessel, and let me be in the right rooms and how can I help those people? The ripple effect, growing together, that matters to me.
You're making an impact, I promise you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I adore you.
Thank you. I appreciate the time that y'all have given me just to share and hear this. Now I want to tune in more and listen to the podcasts.
Well, I hope you do. I mean,
Absolutely.
and always chime in with thoughts and opinions and things that are going on. I think it's you are a testament to the words that say Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, "I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble.
Yeah.
But take heart. I have overcome the world." So
I love that.
It's the thing that we got to remember, right? This life is not going to be easy. We are not made for this world. We are aliens in this world. This world is not our home. When you said, Faye, cancer gave me life. Cancer saved my life. I mean, there's not a truer statement. And I hope that you have a long, long life on this earth. I do.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes.
But if for whatever reason God decides that it's time to bring you home, you will be more alive then than you ever were before that. And so what you said is true. Cancer saved your life.
Yeah.
God used it to wake you up to where you need to be and where your focus needs to be. I tell the story all the time about, my mother was diagnosed with lymphoma, and that's what God used to get my attention. That was when I was saved, is when my mom got diagnosed with lymphoma. And she's in remission now, and she's doing well. But we just had a conversation today, and my mother has come so far. She still attends the Greek Orthodox Church, but she went and she didn't understand things, and now she's searching after God. And had a conversation with a friend of hers, how Jesus is the only way. And she had a friend of hers saying, "No, there's other ways." And she was like, "No, Jesus is the only way. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only way."
Yep.
And they got in a little bit of an argument. And my mom felt a little bit guilty, and she apologized for it. And I said, "Yeah, but here's the thing. You guys weren't arguing. You were saving. You were telling them these things because you care and you love them, and you don't want them to be led astray or thinking that they're safer than they really are. Because you love them." And I don't necessarily think that you need to apologize for loving people and telling them the truth.
Hey, my neighbor was happy sending a liquor and a Bible, man. She was proud of that. I took the constructive criticism, and I just said, "Okay, God, you let me learn from this moment." And so I think we all should just go in with a blank canvas in conversations. And I tell you, it's been a lesson for me to grow up how I grew up, because I have more compassion on people who have a little challenging talking about God, because I was that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your neighbor, the one that gave you the Bible and whiskey, are they believers? Do they go to church?
Oh yeah.
So here's what I also think. Here's what I think. I
She never
think
invited me to her church either. So go.
I think that I struggle with church people sometimes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think a lot of us struggle with church people sometimes. And I think, I don't know this woman from anything. I never heard this story before you told me.
She's a sweet soul.
That's what I'm saying. I
Love her
don't
to death.
think she was trying to be a jerk.
No.
I mean, the whiskey part, maybe. Once you said,
And
when
it
you
was
said,
really good, by the way. I was like,
I know. I like the
I don't
peanut butter
drink
whiskey. It's
alcohol.
actually good, but you told her you couldn't have it. So
Right. Matt, I was at her party sipping tea because I just 2 weeks from having bowel reconstructive surgery. No, lady.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And maybe that was
Oh.
like her, I don't know. I don't know what that part is
Like,
about.
you
But
drink this when you're fully healed or something.
maybe. Right?
yeah,
Maybe.
read the Bible. Do that
Maybe.
instead of yoga. Like,
So I get that part. Because like we said before, there are a lot of people that practice yoga as a religion. And so for her, she might be saying, here's a better way, right? Let me give you this
Yeah.
Bible, right?
Right.
Her heart could have been in the right place with that. Is it really the best way to go about it? Maybe
No.
not. But as believers, we also get to have some grace and be able to give people the benefit of the doubt in certain things. And that might, wow, that is a very long message in Russian.
It's not. It's
something.
not in English either. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one to translate and comment on later. Man, that was a long one.
It's really long.
Either Russian or Polish or something. I don't know. It's something that's not English. But, I think that's a warning, right? For us, for Christians, that we need to be careful the way that we're stepping into conversations with people.
absolutely.
Because we don't know where they are in that
We
moment. And we don't
Right.
want to offend people.
Yeah.
And we don't want to push people away from the faith, because that could have very easily in a weak position made you go, you know what? These church people are the worst. I have no
Right.
interest. Why?
Yeah.
Why would they do this? So we need to be very careful as Christians to be
Yeah.
loving with people when we're talking to them about Jesus.
And be
We
kind.
have to be truthful, but also loving. We have to be grace-filled and honest. And it's a hard combination sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I have another thing I got to jump on to pretty soon, but let's get
Same.
some prayer requests out of the way. Faye, what do you have for prayer requests today?
It's a simple one. I am wanting to this year impact 100 students.
I love that.
That's my prayer request. It's a humble one. With that, I know there's going to be some work ahead of me. And I want to bless 100 students this year.
I love that. That's
How
going to
do-
be in my prayers for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How do people come alongside you to do that, to help? What does that look like?
So, with my book launch, the sales, I take a percentage to help support and fund that. I've got 2 companies that I've got some business chats, to get scheduled with them to go over numbers, like what it actually takes to fund a child 3
Yep.
or 4 classes, tutor times a week until they get to their needs base. So that way it helps me when I submit to the government to a grant. I'm a 501c3.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to partner with you?
They can email me, faye@thebunnyfoundation.org.
Oh, I love it. How cute.
Yeah, like the bunny comes in. It's a crazy story. It's a sweet, but yet it's kind of like, I'm going to build my own foundation, because the past childhood life was, don't be a bad bunny,
Yeah.
when I was hit with my first devastation, we rebranded, remarketed the business, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to be a bad bunny. Got it all marketed, and people started talking like, "Are you the Spanish bunny?" And I was like, I had no idea.
Did you just do the Super Bowl?
Like, we even had people calling like, "Hey, it's like, no, I don't, not affiliated with the bunny, with that bunny. I've got my Instagram." Anyways, I'm sorry, I went off. Whoop, squirrel. But
That's great.
I am a huge advocate of, I want to help people. So the partnership that I want is on both levels of how to build how to make your impact.
Yep.
Where am I going with this? How do I really let people know the impact of partnering with a 501c3? There's so many tax benefits.
Yep.
Boring conversation there, but it's all about community driven too. I want to be the center point of truly pulling kids out of a situation that could get them the education they deserve. A lot of education, the education is centered around all the people doing good and they get to go to the game and whoa, what about the kids that literally sit home that go, gosh, I don't even know how I'm going to ace that test.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I want to be that person. I want to be known for that person, not the billiard girl, please.
All right, let's
Your
pray.
mission's really powerful.
Let's pray.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for Faye and bringing her into our lives. Thank you for the way that you have affected and impacted her life, that she was able to hear you and follow you and dedicate her time and resources and money and effort to you and for your kids. God, we just pray that you would help her to reach 100 students, and that would be a joke to you, that you would multiply that like you did the loaves and the fish, that would be the floor and not the ceiling. God, we just pray that you would give her the resources and the time and the life to be able to do this, to impact your children, because you tell us, come to me as little children. You love children. We know you love children. We are your children. Thank you for calling us, for loving us. Thank you for your son, Jesus. We just pray that you would be with us, that you would keep us safe, and you would help us to keep our eyes focused on you and not on ourselves when we give, that it wouldn't be about me, but about you. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Tony and Jennifer. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you so much for being on our conversation. Getting to know your story has been just really powerful for me. Thank you for sharing it.
Yep. We'll have to do it again.
Don't be shy about sharing your story.
Yeah.
I need to do it more. Like I said, today was the first day even talking about it. And I'm like, I don't even know what to really talk about, because, the website's working on, and I'm adding links. But again, the story is, you don't have to have it all started. Just start talking about it.
Exactly. You got to start. You got to walk into it. God will move the rest of the things forward. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, listening, participating, praying, doing all the things with us. We love you, and take care, and God bless.
God bless.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
God bless.